time on custom work, we're talking stainless, and then some more stainless. Let's get to the workshop. So this time on Custom Works, we're going to be looking at fitting all that stainless steel inside the meat wagon. We're going to be doing lots and lots of that, and then a little bit featuring, oh, it's my favourite, and I hope it's one of yours, cookware. Yes, there's going to be cookware featured in this episode. Let's get to it. Let's get that job done. Right, and so in this next bit, I've got all the cardboard on, just got to cut it into that perfect template shape. Let's see how it went. Right, and so I've cut all those out, and you know, the plasma cutter isn't like the cleanest of cuts, clean enough for what we're doing, and the chrome edge is going to cover anything. We've had a bit of a flare out there. I think the tip was worn. So what I'll do, I'll grind this nice and get all these looking good, and get all the edges really smooth for that chrome trim just to drop on nicely. So I'm going to get the grinder out, grind all these bits up, make this nice, and then let's have a test fit. You know what, I might have a test fit first and then do some grinding, because I'm interested to see if this is even going to fit. Very complicated piece. Right, and so it fits. I had to trim a little bit down there. It was a little bit tight, but you know, I think that's just the sort of territory we're in there. But this fits really well. So I'm going to clean up these holes, make everything look nice, get rid of all the burring, and then we'll bond this on. And so the glue I'm using to stick all of this stainless on is this 5 to 8 instant contact adhesive, Evo stick. It's just like Evo stick, isn't it? Contact adhesive, really strong, grabs instantly, really good, smells really bad, doors and windows open. Or you'll go into a magic land with unicorns and fairies and stuff. So yeah, keep it ventilated. This is the glue I'm using, and I just bought it from Screwfix. You know, nothing special. What I always do is pour into the cup what I'm going to use, and then the rest of it stays in here with the lid on, and it doesn't start to go off and get all sort of thick and claggy. Anyway, I'll apply this to the metal and to like the wooden cabinet bit, and then after about 10 minutes, boom, they will be, in the words of Jason Donovan, together forever and never to part. Oh yes, let's do it. You might be noticing that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, but I've only cut 3 holes out of the metal. Now, I'm not going to make this into a cubby because this is where you're going to stand and serve, and I'd be worried that people's feet would, you'd kick in there or it's out of the way. This is sort of there'll be like a skirting around the bottom of everything that makes a nice clean link to the floor. So I am going over that. It's particularly useless, but just in case you were wondering, that is why. So then, I've waited now, and this is all sort of touch dry. Well, it just feels dry, it's a very warm day. And this will now stick to it like really strong. Fingers crossed. So. Now I've got to make sure that I tuck it into this corner first, because this corner looks atrocious. To get the hinges strong enough, I have to really bolster that out, but this is just going to cover all of this nonsense down there and make everything look a lot tidier when it's finished. And I am wanting this top edge just to be like just a little bit of a lip, so I can grind it to the shape of the counter, because don't forget, not everything is always straight. There, that glue really does get it. That's really stuck. And there it is. Once this is off, I'm not going to take the protection off. Not yet. You're just going to have to wait for that. It's going to be like a big reveal. That's what it'll be. But yeah, that bit's on. That bit's looking good. All I've got is like everything else to do now, and then everything will look great. Obviously, some of these bits, it's all too complicated. I'm not going to do it because it'd just be too many dirty edges and stuff. This is all fine in this lovely matte finish that we've painted it. But as much as I can, I will cover the inside of this fan in stainless. Okay then, so a lot of people say, well, my car's got everything. And I say, even the kitchen sink? And they go, but in this car, in the meat wagon, we really have got the kitchen sink. And at the minute, it's just this hole. But, so we have the hole here, and we have a sink. This is a sink that's been used before. It's not a brand new sink. But, recycling a bit of stainless steel is never a bad thing. It's even more immortal than fiberglass. Stainless steel just lasts forever. So once this sink's been cleaned up, it'll be literally as good as new. But I don't want to mount it like this. Mounting a sink this way onto the top, you're always going to have this sort of salmonella strip kind of edge to it that will always gather dirt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this piece of wood slightly thinner so that this sits flush, and then when I put the worktop over it, we'll have the edge of the worktop around there of the stainless, the engine turned stainless, and it will be seamless to there to there. Yeah, there's going to be a join there, but by that point you're inside the sink and you're not here. This is like you'd set a sink on, say, a Corian or concrete or like granite worktop, and it does work very well. In a sort of former life, I fitted a lot of kitchens, but this is always the best way to do things. Under bonded sink, really cool. So let's make this sit in there. And first what I've got to do, I've got to cut this circle out and then relieve this plywood of like its top sort of 3 layers of ply. So that should be interesting. Probably a bit dusty. That thing's been really nice and not dusty for a while, but you can't make an omelette without frying some eggs or whatever. So first, I'm going to cut around with the angle grinder. Ah, it's every carpenter's favourite tool. Right then, let's chop this out. That rebate for the sink there, just with the angle grinder, well, and a chisel, mainly the angle grinder, but now that'll fit in there just nice. And when I come to make this piece, I can oversail this with the other stainless steel and make the join just there in the sink area, rather than have a nasty strip that you're always going to wipe dirt up to. And also, of course, you know, you've got a load of, I don't know, meat residue, bits of meat, I don't know, you all them into the sink. I don't know why you'd be doing that, but just say there was some dirt there. When you wipe down, you can wipe smoothly in. Just a neater, nicer way of mounting a sink. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the template for this bit. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but on these edges that I'm making, so I'll put the front bit on first and then the top bit on after. And what I'm doing here is I grind this bit level with the actual top here. And then when I put this on, I grind this edge back to this one. So as my eye's looking down, I can't see the join. The join is here rather than here, if you get my meaning. And then when I polish along with the very fine sanding disc, as the two come together, I put a tiny bevel on. But this is going to be like a diameter of like 1 mil or something, you know. But that gives us a nice clean edge, which is just like I've done here. And it all just looks like it's one piece, you know, there's no gap at all. Of course, there is a join, but that join is sealed and it's out of eye line as well. So it's a lovely impervious finish. All right, we got the sink actually fitted. There it is underneath, everything's ground back. It all just seems like one piece of stainless steel. This was bonded under here. There's a really big sort of flange that can be bonded to, and I did that in Mitafix, really roughed up both surfaces, and that should hold that forever, I should imagine. And then we bowed this bit around the top of this pedestal just to give it a nice trim, so that, you know, the stainless ends here rather than just being a flat there. But things are really coming on, and I'm hoping over the next week or so I will get this inside all done. I did make a bit of a mistake with the ordering. I need one more sheet to do this enormous wall, because literally that wall is going to take like a whole sheet. It's just the wrong kind of dimension. It's just a bit too big to get it out of the width, so I'm going to have to take it out of the length. But that will come, we'll get it done, and you know, it'll all come good. Up to now, I would say it's like 80% done in here. We've just got to push for that last little bit, and then we will have this sort of cavern of stainless and chrome. More stainless steel to go onto the meat wagon. I've got these holes that are drilled all the way up here, and if you can see behind, you know, this is just expanding foam, bits of timber frames, stuff like that. And we need a way of covering all that up. So that hole looks nice. Inside, around the rim of the hole, everything looks good. So, you know what we're going to use? Back after so long, it's cookware again. Now, these tiny saucepans are, I've no idea what, I think they're probably meant for measuring things, like scoops of stuff. But we managed to get these for like £6 for a whole set. Not too bad at all. And the amount of tidying up and making this look professional they do is, well, it's worth £6 just for one. So then, with the small modification of removing the handle, these fit into these holes. Perfection. And then, of course, when we've got those all the way round here, this will just look just a lot slicker, a lot more professional, and just finished. So, I've got a lot of these. Let's cut some handles off some tiny, tiny saucepans. Some of these aren't quite deep enough. So what I've got to do is just cut a bit out of there. So what I'm going to be using is this this timber sort of drill bit thing, hole saw, whatever. I'm just going to drill some of this wooden frame back, just a few mil to make them fit. And there we go. So now I've just got another, got about another 9 or 10 to do. So I'll get on with that and then we'll get them glued in. Okay, and so they're all cleaned. I've blown it all off, got all the dust out from inside these holes because, you know, I don't want to just be sticking to dust. I want to be to a bit of fiberglass or a bit of good solid foam in there. So what I'm going to do to stick these in, I'm going to put a blob of PU sealant at the back, and PU sealant will stick to shiny, so that will hold it in there really well. But just to hold it while it's drying, I'm going to put some Mitafix in the hole first. Like, would there be a week without Mitafix? I doubt it. So what I'm going to do, blob in the back there. Desperately trying here not to get any on this painted outer. Now I'm going to put the handle here at the top where the handle was, because I know you might see that, and I'm going to put the Mitafix in here. I'm not going to put it on the edge of this, because as I push it in, what'll happen is it will like gather up in a blob as this wood like squeeges it up to the edge. So I'll put a blob inside here instead, so that we don't get any splurge. And as that goes in, there we go, it's on there, and then I just spray some of that, and that will find its way in there, and that will hold it for, it might hold for years, but it's really the PU sealant that's going to hold it at the back. So let's get a load more of them in, and then we can look at the beauty of the inner of the meat flap. They are. Look how good this looks, you know, just so simple, so easy, but just gives that sort of professional finish. Okay, and so that's about all for this week. Don't forget, subscribe, like, bell icon, all of that stuff, all of those admins. It's really more your job than mine. Do that, do it now. And I'll be back next week with more car madness, and you can, you know, just look and think, I wouldn't do it like that. Anyway, That's what this program's all about. Thank you very much, and good night.